continuing my trek through the Rotten Tomatoes landscape, I'm attempting to view and review all 206 movies that have 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I will give each of them a rating from 1 to 10, and at the end I will rank them from my least favorite to most favorite. I started in the 1920s silent movie era, and I am working my way to 2022. I am on movie number 14. This is a French movie called La Atalante. It came out in 1934, has a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes and an 89% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It stars Dita Parlo as Juliette, Jean Daste as Jean, and Michael Simon as Jules. So it was just 2 movies ago we had Michael Simon and Baudot saved from drowning. He played Baudot. So already 2 movies later we have him again. If you remember from that review, if you watched it, I did not care for his performance or for his acting. So we'll see how this goes here. Essentially, this is a movie about a couple, so Jean and Juliette. Juliette lived in a small town her entire life and never got out of the town. Jean, I'm assuming, came into the town. They met, they got married. This is their honeymoon that they're going on. They are sailing on this barge that he is the captain of, and they are sailing to London is what they're planning to do. So while on the barge, they meet the skipper, who is Jules, played by Michael Simon. And basically, for a lot of the movie, it's kind of Jules trying to figure out how to act with a woman on board because he's never had a woman on board. And it's also Jean basically getting upset at everything that happens on the boat. So early on, we see Juliette and Jules' cabin where she's just kind of looking around and talking to him because she doesn't have a lot of friends. She's never been outside of her town, so she hasn't seen a lot of things. So she is on this boat and she's talking to Jules. Jules takes off his shirt and shows all these tattoos that he clearly had drawn on. They were very poorly made tattoos. And Jean comes in and throws a fit and starts throwing dishes around. And why are you here, woman? Why are you here? You shouldn't be around other men. So he kind of gets very upset. And then for most of the movie, Juliette is longing to see the world, to see things outside of her town, and to see things outside of the ship. She listens to a radio station about London, and she fantasizes about being in a big city, fantasizes about like actually going out and seeing things. And Jean gets upset that she's listening to the station and he wants to listen to something else. So it's basically her dreaming and pining and wanting to see the world and do things, and him making her as completely miserable as he can while he's on the ship and on their honeymoon. He does love her. There are a lot of scenes in this movie where he shows affection to her. But most of the movie, at least for me, he seems kind of distant and not all that interested in anything aside from being jealous and getting upset. So they finally land in London, and Jules and Jules' first mate go out on the town. So Jean decides that they can't go out yet because someone needs to stay with the boat. So once Jules comes back, he's very drunk, and Jean decides they need to leave. We can't let him go back into town. He's a blithering drunk. We need to leave. But eventually Juliette and Jean, they do go into London, and they do have a bit of fun. They go to a nightclub where there's dancing, but there's this kind of street performer, or he's a performer of some kind, who's singing a song, and he comes up to Juliette, he sings to Juliette, he dances with Juliette, and this turns Jean into a violent rage, and he makes Juliette go home and says, you can't go out anymore because guys will flirt with you, and I don't want you to see other men. I just want you to stay walled up in this hole forever and never get out and see things. And she doesn't like that very much. So once he's asleep, she goes back out to, kind of go shopping and look at things, and one last kind of shop around before she goes back and lives with Jean, which I think is completely understandable. But Jean thinks, and then she also was going to meet this guy, which is not as understandable. But the guy who was flirting with her earlier, she thinks maybe she'll try to go see him and hang out with him for a while. I don't know if it's because she just wants a friend or if she's because she's attracted to him. I seem to think that she just wants to meet people and know things, you know. So Jean wakes up and realizes this has happened, and instead of doing what a normal person would do and to go out and find her and to apologize for keeping her cooped up and try to make amends for it, he just leaves her. He sails off. He's like, I don't want to see her ever again, and he sails off and leaves her in the city that she's never been in before. She does some shopping. She never finds that guy, and then she ends up trying to go back to the barge because she's had the kind of the night that she wanted. So she goes back to the barge, and it's not there anymore because he's left her. And so she then tries to go buy a ticket, like a plane ticket home, and someone steals her wallet. Then we go back to Jean, and he's beside himself with grief because he loves her and he just left her by herself. And there's one scene in the movie where she tells him that if you put your head in water, you can see her love. So he tries to dunk his head in water. He tries to jump into the water so that he can see her, and none of it happens. And then basically he's this depressed guy now because, woe is me. It's his fault. He realizes it's his fault, and he loves her. But he doesn't turn around to try to find her or anything. He just sulks, and he doesn't go out and about. He just thinks, oh, she doesn't want to be with me anymore because she left the boat for 20 minutes. So now my life is ruined. And so eventually Jules goes and he decides he's going to go find her, and he finds her, brings her back to the ship, and then they live happily ever after. That's basically the whole movie. Now, my summation of the movie might not go well with some people because this is a movie that's very loved in cinema. It's always on the list of best movies ever. It's considered one of the best movies to come out of France. The director in this movie, this was his last feature film that he ever made because he was 29 years old and he passed away from tuberculosis. So people consider this a crowning achievement and a waste of, he kind of had all this talent that was wasted because he died. And people rave and rant about this movie. I think this movie is okay. I thought that Simon was better, Michael Simon, in this movie than he was in Bordeaux, but you can't really get that much worse. Although in this movie he also plays a drunk who's just drunk all the time. So I don't know if that was his shtick. And as an actor, he was considered a comedic actor because he was acting like he was drunk all the time. It worked for Otis and Andy Griffith, I guess. But that's kind of what he does throughout the entire movie, is he just acts drunk. But he's more endearing. He actually has a nice relationship as far as a friendship goes with Juliette, where he never really had a woman on a ship before. He acclimates very well to that. He's very nice to her. He has a very good relationship with her, I feel. Jean or whatever his name is, he was... I don't know. I never got into his character. He just seemed like he was distant and mad and depressed the whole time, and it just didn't work for me. This is considered a great love story, I suppose, but I don't really understand why. There wasn't a lot for him in this movie to love, I feel like. I mean, he's kind of a jerk to her the whole trip, except for a couple scenes where they're loving to each other, but almost the whole time he's kind of a jerk to her, and she just takes it a lot of the time, except for the end where she decides she's going to go out on her own and kind of try to find the life, or try to kind of see the things that she wanted to see. But I've seen a lot of love stories in my day. Maybe it's just because this is an early movie. It's considered a masterpiece of this one director. And maybe back in 1933, it was considered a great love story. I don't personally see it. Maybe, I think it's just early French films, maybe I don't get. But I am very much in the minority on this because everyone seems to love this movie, but I just thought it was okay. I didn't think it was anything spectacular. The acting on the part of Juliette, I thought was really good. She was very good at playing a loving, doting wife. And then at the end, when she needs to kind of embark on her own, and I felt that she played that up very well, kind of the lost girl in the city. I thought she did very well. And then at the end, when she's apparently still loves this guy for some reason, even though he left her in the city by herself and wasn't the one who went to find her, even though he could have, because Jules did it, so why couldn't he have done it? But he was in this like very depressed state where he couldn't move and he couldn't do anything. So, whatever, he did it to himself. But I thought that the camera work on this movie was very good. I thought the set pieces were good. The ship I thought was excellent outside the ship when they go into London. I thought that was all done very well. It's just the main actor in this movie was off-putting to me. I didn't think the story was all that great. I don't know. It wasn't for me. I didn't think the script was all that great either. But it's a very simple movie, but it just didn't work for me. I'm still going to give it a better score than what I gave Bordeaux because it's a better movie. There's no rape scenes, and there's actually a likable character in this movie, which is different than what I gave my last French film. So I'm going to give this a 6.5. It has a 79 or 89% audience rating, but if you go to IMDb has like a 7.7. So it's a little bit closer to what I have there. But like I said, I'm willing to say I'm in the minority. I just don't get it. It's just not a movie that works for me. Thank you. Hope you have a great day.